Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing something today that I don't do very often, which is a try-on haul of new to me products from Sephora. I don't often do hauls, like I'm not generally someone who picks up a bunch of stuff at once. I generally shop as I go and I budget as I go and I plan for things, but the Sephora Spring Savings Event is coming up and I wanted to try a few things to share with you all. And I'm working on a few exciting pieces of content that I wanted to review new products for. So I've got skincare and makeup. Let me tell you what I purchased first. There are a few things here that I received in PR, but we'll get into my personal haul first. So I picked up the In Beauty Project Face Glaze. This is a newer brand to Sephora and they're at a great price range. They're like in the teens to 20s. The face glaze is called a skin barrier veil. It's like a glowy moisturizer slash primer. So I'm going to be using it, I think, as a glowy primer today. Next, I have the Summer Fridays, what is this called? The Lip Butter Balm in the shade Vanilla Beige. I also picked up one of the Tom Ford Creme eyeshadow quads. I had talked about this eyeshadow palette or this new formula in a video about new makeup that I was not buying or trying to resist buying, but curiosity got the better of me. I'm a big fan of the Tom Ford eyeshadow formulas. So I grabbed the shade Tiger Eye, which looks like this. It's so beautiful. I've used it once, but I'm excited to get into it a little bit more. And then lastly, I picked up the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize in the shade Walk of No Shame, which is a beautiful, warm, shimmery, rusty copper sort of shade. I have my skin prepped already. I have a couple things I used that are new that I want to share. So this is the Youth to the People Triple Peptide Plus Cactus Oasis Serum. It's a beautiful, hydrating, hyaluronic serum. It's plumping, it's glowy, it's very much like a watery serum. So comes in this glass pump and then the texture is like this. It also contains peptides, which help with anti-aging or well aging. And it's just a really lovely hydrating step. I use 2 pumps morning and evening. I also used the Skin Fix Barrier Plus Skin Barrier Restoring Gel Cream. So this is a new release by Skin Fix. I really love their original moisturizer. It's like a heavier, richer moisturizer. So I was excited that they came out with this gel cream and it has their airless pump, which I love. So this gel cream, I'm just trying to pump out a little bit, has a bit of a richer texture for gel creams. It isn't as much of like a water gel as it is a true gel quality. It looks like that and I feel like it is really hydrating, but it doesn't just disappear. You know, some more watery gel creams, you apply them and they kind of become traceless. I feel like this will work for oily to normal and even dry skins might like this because even though it's a lightweight texture, definitely more of a gel than their traditional moisturizer, it really lasts. Like the hydration sticks around and Skin Fix is a great brand for people with sensitive skin. It's specifically designed actually with sensitive skins in mind. So I do feel like I have a really nice, I mean, I applied this like over an hour ago and I feel like I still have a nice like plumped up effect on the skin. And then I've also got the Charlotte Tilbury eye cream, the Magic Eye Rescue on. I was recently sent some Charlotte Tilbury skincare, which I had never tried, but the eye cream looks like this and it's really moisturizing, it's rich. I do prefer it in the PM because it is rich, but if I just dab on a little bit during the day, it wears really beautifully like under concealer or just on its own. My lips are feeling pretty dry right now, so I'm going to start with the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. This is a tinted lip balm. It's like a liquid balm that comes in a squeezy tube. It has this really cute, clear applicator, and the applicator itself has a little curve right here, so it hugs the lip really nicely. It's a really nice My Lips But Better shade. It has like a slightly brownie rose quality to it. I feel like It did make my lips look a little bit bigger because it kind of glazed over the lip lines. And because it is such a natural shade, it's lightly tinted, but it's not so tinted that it looks unnatural on a bare face. It's such a light shade that you can wear it with or without makeup. I've got the In Beauty Project Face Glaze. So this says it provides the look of smooth, glowy, healthy skin, and it filters away dull, dry, and textured skin. It's infused with vegan squalane, ceramides, and hyaluronic acid, a unique gel cream that promotes a healthy skin barrier while imparting a soft, focused glow. So you can wear it alone for a dewy glow, you can wear it as a primer, you can wear it mixed with foundation or tinted moisturizer, or as a highlighter for subtle radiance. I've used it once, and I used it as a kind of glowy primer around the tops of my cheekbones, and I think that's what I'm going to do today. I have oily combo skin, so I can't really wear glow products all over the skin. So In Beauty Project is a newer brand and a smaller brand that's recently come into Sephora, and I have heard great things about their products, but I haven't had the chance to try them yet. So this is the first thing I'm trying from the brand. I'm just gonna try to show you here how the texture looks. So it has that champagne-y glow, and it's definitely like a gel cream texture. Just gonna pick it up with my finger and apply it across the cheekbones. It's very sheerly tinted. It actually almost doesn't really look like a color on my skin. And I don't know, it has this kind of like grippy quality to it, like a grippy gel quality that I really like. I feel like a lot of glowy primer sort of products can be a little bit more emollient, and this feels hydrating, but it doesn't feel oily at all. It feels truly like a gel cream, and it is giving me that, you know how like some primers you can feel them sort of grip onto the skin? It's giving me a little bit of that, not in an uncomfortable way at all, but it makes me feel like it's going to stay put and not migrate around my face. There is, I think, mica and like titanium dioxide in here. I don't think this has enough pigment, honestly, in it to show up as much of any kind of color, but I would be curious to see what this looks like on a deeper skin tone. So here's what that glow looks like, and I really like it. I feel like this is a product that even oily skins can use because it's not going to make you feel more oily. It just gives you that kind of filtered glow, and the gel cream, because it has that like slightly grippy quality, I do feel like it kind of filters over and makes that area of the skin look a little bit smoother. For base, I have something that's new to me. It's not new, but it's the Beauty Blender Bounce Skin Tint. I was sent this in the mail recently, and I've heard really good things about this from people who have tried it, but I have not seen it a lot in general. So this is the Always On Radiant Skin Tint. It says it's a next generation skin tint that actually stays put. The silky, breathable texture evens tone, nourishes, and hydrates for a soft, radiant finish that lasts. 12-hour breathable wear, light medium buildable coverage, moisture boosting hyaluronic acid, and skin smoothing niacinamide. So it comes in a dropper tube, and it says shake before use. This is the shade Light 5, so we'll see if that works for me. So it has a squeezy dropper. Let's try it on the back of my hand. Yeah, I think that shade will work for me right now. It looks like it has a nice golden tone. In terms of application, this is the kind of thing I think I'm going to try to apply with my fingers or a brush first. I do have a beauty blender with me that maybe I'll tap over once I apply with fingers, but I don't want the sponge to soak up too much product. So I'm just gonna try it with fingers first, I think. So I'm going to drop some on the back of my hand. That feels really nice. It's really silky smooth. It is light coverage. It's giving me like a veil of color, a veil of pigment that is sort of evening over redness, but it's not covering like pigmentation or spots that I have along my jawline. I can see as I'm sort of pressing it over my T-zone that it is kind of creating that filtered look over any pores that I have. It feels hydrating, but it doesn't feel greasy, which I was a little bit worried about with anything with a radiant finish because I am oily combo, but this feels just kind of like a serum, a watery serum texture. One drop covered my cheeks and my chin. I just grabbed one more drop for my forehead. I love how flexible this texture is. I feel like when you first apply it, it gives you time to blend it in and move the product around, but then it's about like 30 seconds after that, it starts to slightly set down. I have about half a drop left, so I'm just going to see if I can build up coverage around my jawline where I generally need a little bit more coverage. And the way I like to do this is by tapping. It just looks really skin-like. It looks like real skin. Okay, that's one sheer layer with a little bit of coverage built up in certain spots, but not all over. I really like this. I definitely feel like it's radiant. I'll be curious to see what it looks like with powder over it because I'm definitely going to have to powder my T-zone, but I feel like it looks really skin-like. It's a light blurring coverage. It's like the kind of thing you could wear every day without it being very detectable on the skin. I feel like this shade, Light 5, is good for me depth-wise. I do feel like it's a little bit warm. It's getting a little bit peachier the longer it's on my skin. I did look up the shade and L5 is described as light medium with warm neutral undertones. So yeah, it's slightly peachy. It is described as a warm golden, so I do think that's accurate. It's nothing that is too obvious that I can't work with, just something to note about the shade. For concealer, I'm using the Dior Backstage concealer again. I did just review this in my last video. I just really love this. I think the brush applicator is the perfect size. It doesn't pick up too much product, and so you're able to take a little bit of product and move it around without over applying. And so, I don't know, this brush is just genius. I'm like, why haven't more brands come out with an applicator like this? It's also very flexible in coverage. A little bit goes a really long way. It stretches really far without losing coverage. I actually haven't tried applying this with a beauty blender, so let's try that. Oh, and I'm wearing the shade 2W here. I like the way this applies with a beauty blender. It does look more radiant with the moisture that the beauty blender kind of helps add into the skin compared to a brush. The construction around our house remains ongoing, as I'm sure you can hear. Sorry about that. I'm like, I film in a different room every time I film a video because I'm trying to like avoid the construction around different areas of our house, but it's honestly unavoidable, and that's just the way it is right now. Beauty Blender also sent over a cream blush, their Bounce Liquid Whip cream blush in the shade Cheeky Pink. Looks like this. It's got this like clear acrylic packaging. This is the shade. This is described as a hybrid cream to powder formula supercharged with hyaluronic acid and vitamin C, delivering a buildable wash of color that's impossible to overdo. So let me just swatch it for you. This might be a little bit more pinky than I'm going for today, but it does have this really interesting feel. It's very thin, and on the skin it creates a really nice, even sheer wash of color, and then it kind of sets down into a powder-like formula. It's quite unique, actually, and I would be really curious to try that soon, but I think this is a little bit pinkier and brighter than I'm going for today with the other makeup that I have. I just wanted to show you because this is new to me as well. The other blush that I have is another shade of the Patrick Ta Creme and Powder duos in the shade She's Baked. In the last couple months, I've gone from having no Patrick Ta blushes to 3 Patrick Ta blushes. 2 of them were sent to me. This one I purchased though because it's just such a gorgeous, like sun-kissed, burnt, rustic shade. In a recent video, I had talked about that Chanel limited edition blush that looked like that kind of burnt, deep red, rusty shade. And this isn't quite the same, but I feel like this actually kind of captures the essence of a product like that. So I am going to be using this today, but I actually think I'm going to start maybe with eyes. I'm thinking I'm going to do a sheer wash of this cream shadow, this like rusty, beautiful cream shadow, very lightly across the eye, and then layer the Tom Ford shadows on top of it. I think that will work best in terms of building pigment. I'm just going to prime my eyes with the Milk Hydro Grip Eye Primer. This is also new to me. I've tested it a couple times and I actually think it's a really unique formula. It starts out as kind of like a gel, like it's almost liquidy, and then it sets down in a really sheer layer over the lid. This texture is really different and I'm kind of into it, honestly. I like how thin the texture is. I'm going to use a brush because I want to lay down a really sheer veil of color across the eyes. I'm not new to the Eyes to Mesmerize formula, but I am new to this shade and I swatched it in store the other day and it's just so beautiful. If you're not familiar, Charlotte Tilbury actually helped develop the Tom Ford cream eyeshadow formula. They have a very similar like whipped moussey consistency. So here's a heavier swatch of Walk of No Shame. It's a very warm, rusty copper shade with a bit of gold pearl running through it. The thing I love about the Tom Ford cream eyeshadows and this formula as well is that it's really flexible. You can apply it in a really sheer wash of color or you can build up the pigment, but it's very thin. Even though it starts out whipped and moussey, it's really skin-like. And so it doesn't look like a heavy cream at all. It just, you can even see there, like I'm blending it into a super sheer wash of color. And you can wear it like that, or you can build it up for more drama. Again, just going for that wash of color over the eyes. When you apply it really thinly like this, you don't see that pearl too much. And then when you build it up, you can see the shimmer a little bit more. Okay, let's get into the Tom Ford Eye Color Creme eyeshadow quad. So I got the shade Tiger Eye, which is a warm quad with a mix of mattes and shimmers. I really debated between this and Smoky Quartz, which is an all matte shadow or an all matte palette. Also warm tones, but I ended up with this because I thought the shimmers are something that I would wear a lot throughout spring and summer, and maybe I'll pick up the mattes in the fall or something like that. So it has this kind of creamy, putty touch to it. Here's that first shade. It's a golden champagne. I can already tell you these feel very thin. That's what I first noticed, is it's creamy, but it's not like a heavy cream. It's definitely like a cream powder hybrid. Going into that second shade. I hope you can see like the texture on my hand, how really skin-like that is. Going into this bronzy shade. It's so buttery smooth. Then going into the deepest shade. Wow. Look at that. So these are the swatches, not my best work, but you can see how smooth and how kind of glossy, especially these lighter shimmers, look on the back of the hand. The thing I'm noticing as I'm even blending out the shades on the back of my hand is that they really smooth over any texture or any fine lines as you blend them out. So I think I'm going to go in with this peachy shade all over the eye first, and then we'll blend out with a brush maybe. It's definitely much warmer on the eyes than it looks in the pan. Like in the pan, it looks pretty pink, but on the eye, I think with that gold reflect running through it, it is definitely warmer. And I think it actually pairs really nicely with that base that I put down with the Walk of No Shame cream eyeshadow. But I really can't explain just how thin these feel. They do not feel at all like a traditional cream eyeshadow. It's almost like once they hit the skin, they become like this silky creme powder. I'm just going to take a brush and diffuse the edges. I'm going to take a smaller brush, just a little domed brush into the lightest champagne shade for a little bit of inner corner brightness. And I'm going to blend it into that peachy shade. Then I'm going to take that same fluffy brush and I'm going to go into the bronzy shade and I'm going to build a little bit of definition around my outer corner, like this outer V right here, and create some definition through the orbital bone / crease area. These colors are melding into each other so beautifully. Like it really doesn't take a lot of blending to blend two different shades together. Then I'm taking a small brush into the deep matte shade. This looks really deep in the pan, but the way that it was blending out on the back of my hand makes me think that it actually would be a really beautiful, like one and done smoky matte shadow because it shears out really easily. And it's melting into these other shadows really nicely. No powderiness at all. To finish everything off, I'm going to take an angled liner brush into that deep shade. And I just want to line the lash line a little bit. I do have a new mascara. This is the Bareminerals Maximus mascara. It has a very large wand, very, very large. It's bristly, but it has nice separation through the bristles, and it is a volumizing mascara. I do wish this brush were a little smaller. I think for my eye size and shape, it's a little overwhelming, but it's building really nicely. It's lengthening actually very quickly. So this side I have mascara on, this side I don't. This is going to have huge impact if you already have full lashes. A very dramatic mascara. I like it. I think with my fine, delicate lashes, there is the risk of over applying. I do have to be a little bit careful with the brush so I don't get it all over my eyes, but I really like the formula. It's very black, like a deep black, and it built a lot of drama. Okay, eyes are done. I did not powder the skin and I can tell I'm getting shiny very quickly already, especially under the studio lights. I have just my Kevyn Aucoin loose powder, so I'm going to lightly set in the T-zone before we go into cheeks. You know what? I actually have 2 more products that I hauled. I forgot to show you because I already used them on Instagram, but I'm going to use them here today too. I have the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in a new shade to me, which is Nutcracker, and I have the Dior Lip Glow in Mahogany. Both of these are not new, but they're new to me. So I love the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush formula. I have the shade Ballet Slippers, which is a beautiful, like burnt, rusty kind of cheek look. And I saw Nutcracker in stores and I had to try it because it's such a unique kind of rosy taupe shade, but having used it once, I can already say it's much more sheer than the Ballet Slippers formula. So I'm just taking a stipple brush into the product and I'm just going to lightly sculpt and contour the cheek towards the back of the cheek. So I think you can see it's shearing out really nicely. It also feels even slightly more emollient than the Ballet Slippers shade that I have. The Vision Flush formula is also a multi-purpose product. I did wear this as a wash of color across the eyes. You could wear it on the lips. I'm even gonna sculpt across the forehead here. Do you see what I mean? I feel like it's giving me like a contour without being too ashy because there's that touch of rose in it. It's not something I would have picked for myself without seeing it, but I even wore it like across my cheeks as blush and I really liked it that way too. The Patrick Ta blushes, I know and love now. This top is the Creme. The powder in She's Baked feels a little bit more matte to me than the powder in She's Blushing, which is also one of the newer shades. I feel like that one has a little bit of like a sheen running through it. This feels more matte to me. So I'm going to take my Sonia G Mini Cheek into the powder first, which is actually how the brand recommends wearing this blush. They recommend powder then cream, which is kind of different from other brands, but that's how they recommend it and it does work and I do like it that way. This is definitely a pigmented blush, so you can work with a fluffier brush, and I think if you have deep skin, this will be beautiful on you as well. Then I'm taking the Sonia G Mini Base into the Creme. And lastly, I'm going to finish off with some lip liner with the Dior Lip Glow. This is the first lip glow I've tried since they reformulated this product a couple years ago, maybe last year. I loved the old lip glow formula. It was my favorite. I loved how like melty and balmy and kind of grippy it felt. This formula definitely feels a little bit thinner, a little bit closer to a more traditional balm. It still has a slight grippiness, but it's not as melty like on contact with the lips. But I do love the shade Mahogany. It's a beautiful rosy brown. I did a try on of this on Instagram. It just looks like that. Sorry, that's the leftover blush. It looks like that. I'm going in with an oldie but a goodie, Makeup Forever Anywhere Caffeine. I just want a slightly like blurred lip look. I don't want it to look like I'm wearing lip liner. So I'm just going in really lightly. Going in with Mahogany. This also has, they added a little bit of peppermint to this. It has like a vanilla peppermint scent. The peppermint is not strong, like it doesn't feel like a lip plumper, but it is there. I know some people can be sensitive to that, but here it is on the lips. It's just so comfortable. It's the kind of thing you can throw on and go with or without makeup. You can definitely see it pulls kind of rosier, more rosy than brown on my lips. So that's the finished look. I feel really good in this makeup. This feels very me. I rarely do a full face of new makeup, so I will leave a pinned comment in the comments letting you know how everything wore. I loved the skin tint. I can anticipate that I will definitely get glowier throughout the day, but I don't really mind that. I feel like I just like how real my skin looks. I loved the In Beauty Project face glaze. We'll definitely be using that more. I feel like it's super natural. I'm curious what it'll look like on its own, so I'll have to try it out that way as well. The hit of this look, I think, really is the Tom Ford Creme eyeshadow quad in Tiger Eye. Such a me kind of look. I can see myself wearing this all through the summer, and I'm now even tempted to pick up that matte quad because the one matte shade in the quad is so beautiful that I would love a quad full of matte shades in this formula. Also loved Charlotte Tilbury Walk of No Shame. I'll have to do that as more of a full pigment look sometime soon. The mascara was definitely volumizing. If you're looking for drama and impact, that's the one for you. Just know that the brush is very big. And the cheek products are not new formulas, they're just new shades of formulas I already love. So I really liked them. I don't know if I would wear them together necessarily. I think I might just wear one or the other on their own so that they can really shine, but I like the cheek look overall. As for the lip products, you really can't go wrong with products like these. The Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm is lovely. To me, it's more of like a classic balm, whereas the Dior feels a little bit closer to makeup. So I think there's a spectrum here in terms of what you're looking for. The Summer Fridays Balm is very lightly tinted, but the Dior has a bit more of a makeup-y effect. Even though it's still sheer and balmy, you can build it up to add more color and impact. So that's everything for me today. Definitely stay tuned because I have a lot of exciting content coming up. The Sephora Spring Savings Event is starting April 1st, and I will have my big recommendations video posted then. And I've got some other fun things in the works. So I will see you then. Bye.